In this video, we're going to talk about contracts and negotiations. Now, when it comes to contracts, I am not going to tell you how to fill them out because they are state by state specific. So I do not want to be held liable in any legal way of telling you how to fill out a contract or what to put on those contracts. But here's what I will tell you to do is when you join the company that you join, whether it be Keller Williams, Caldwell Banker, Remax, mom and pop on the corner, go to your broker or go to your office director, whether it be an MCA or an assistant in some sort, and ask them if they do have a outline for what is required in certain transactions. So what would be required if you were the buyer's agent and representing the buyer? What would be required if you are the seller's agent representing the seller? Most of these companies will have an outline of what contracts and addendums you would need initially to start that contract out and be able to start making progress on that. Now, depending on the transaction, there could be addendums that fall in on certain items and specific reasons, but at least you will have the idea of what you need to start with, which will help you, understand them, because I'd highly suggest, again, that you do read them and understand them. So if there are questions, you can answer them. And B, it will make you look more professional because you will not be going back and forth with this addendum or that addendum. Again, if it happens in the middle of the contract or a little bit later because of, solar panels or wood destroying termites or something like that, that there's addendum that needs to be filled out, most people are going to understand that situations happen and paperwork needs to be filled out for that. So like I said, I would highly suggest asking somebody within your office, whether it's your broker or an assistant that's in the office that takes care of the transactions or things like that, if there is some type of outline that you can get so you know what you need to be printing out or looking at and sending to your clients to get filled out. Now, when it comes to negotiations, there's one thing you have to remember, and that is you are representing and working for your buyer or your seller. So essentially, you want to get what's best for your client, but you have to do it in such a way that you do not try to strong arm or, kill a deal by trying to be too stern and too, this is what we're going to want, this is what we're going to get type of attitude. Now, being brand new into the real estate world, you will probably have some agents that will say, we've been in the business for 15 years, 30 years, 50 years. Doesn't matter. All right. Do what you need to do for your clients. Now, some ways you can go about this are just by taking your time, understanding the legal requirements of dates of when you are supposed to reply back, send counteroffers, things like that, and take that to an advantage. In other words, if the requirement is you have 3 days to look over a contract for an offer on a selling house, and your seller reviews it and they want a day or two to think about it, and you have 3 days, you can take those 3 days and not worry. Sometimes your seller's like, yep, this is it, let's do it. You send the stuff off. Some of them may need one couple of days. Understandable. It's a big decision. All right. So I would highly, highly suggest that you try to find within your office or an outside online source. There are people, they have negotiation classes and they will explain how to negotiate contracts. I could probably really go into some tactics and ways to do things, but a good negotiation class could anywhere between 2 to 3 hours. And I'm sure you don't want to sit here for 2 to 3 hours right now learning about negotiations and things and how to take care of that. But I will say this is remaining even keeled or calm throughout the transaction is going to be your best bet. You are going to have other realtors that are going to tell you, here's our offer, and they will call you every hour looking for an answer. Do not feel obligated to give them an answer. All right. If the contract states you have X amount of time to return an answer, you have that obligation to utilize that time. All right. If it's a lowball offer, you are going to get forced to try to do something. And again, being brand new, they're going to try to use that as an advantage if they understand and know that you're brand new into the industry. So take your time, do what's best for your client. Now, what's best for your client could be price, could be terms. So just because there's a lower price doesn't mean it's a bad offer. They could be wanting to close sooner than another offer. They may be offering something in their terms, like leasebacks or something like that for your seller that the other one may not be. Then again, price may be the bigger demeanor because the terms may be the same and the price is what's going to dictate what your seller takes. Same thing on the buyer side. All right. Your buyer is going to offer stuff. It's important, again, to let your buyer know that the seller has X amount of time to come back with an answer, whether it's initial, counteroffer, recounteroffer. Again, with home inspections, they have X amount of time once you send them a list to come back. That is part of all the negotiation process. All right. As long as you let your people know, your clients know, that there is no obligation for them to come back in an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours, you will be fine. All right. So again, what I would highly, highly suggest doing is finding a reputable realtor who is holding a negotiation class, and they will be able to go over, and they will go over different tonalities that you can use, different verbiage you can use, the best ways to communicate, how you should communicate. Receiving answers via either text message or email can help your case if something goes sideways. So there are a lot of underlying things that can go into negotiations that can help you win or maybe lose or cost you a transaction. So I know this video again was a little short and sweet, but again, the roundabout overall effect of these videos is to help you understand what you need to have in your handbasket of tricks in order to excel in this business. Now, a lot of people, they don't have the knowledge of negotiation or how to fill out contracts when they start in. After this video, you will know that you should know your contract. So when the time comes, you're going to be ready to be able to write one, and you're going to be able to negotiate one. See you on the next video.